Hello and welcome to the North Bank podcast. I'm your host Holly and I'm joined as ever by Stef and Chris. Hello guys.
Evening.
Hello, how you doing?
If Carlsberg did Sunday football results, they wouldn't go far wrong from this set of results today. My word. I've rarely looked forward to match of the day too, quite so eagerly. I haven't seen any of the action deliberately. I obviously know what went on, but it's put a very an increasingly positive spin onto the weekend and this podcast in particular. I mean, we had a pretty decent result yesterday, but City dropping points in consecutive games when we felt
the manner in which they dropped
and we
them.
felt that they met Sunderland at a nice time without all Sunderland's AFCON players and Dan Ballard, and meeting Chelsea, the basket case club. And they're dropping points. The pressure's getting to them. Come on. Pressure's clearly getting to me as well. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take a breath. I wanted to open. I had no intention of saying what I've just said. I wanted to open with a quote from yesterday's game. I'll read it. The win against Villa meant nothing if we didn't win that game. Words of Declan Rice. So, Steph, you were at Baltic Bournemouth.
I was.
How are you feeling, like just vibe-wise? How are you feeling 24 hours later? Just in regards to the game itself and the result, obviously.
Yeah, good. It was one of those games where, again, like so many over December and now into the new year, where the scoreline probably felt nervy than the actual sort of game did. And there's a pattern emerging with the first halves being a little bit flat and trying to work things out, and then the second halves being a major improvement. But I think there's a point at which it's all well and good. Sometimes, okay, so hear me out. So some people just talk about Fernandes at Man United as being like a player that kind of bails the team out, as it were. And I think, that can also play down the fact that he is quite a good player. And I just think there's an element of Declan Rice's performance yesterday is going to stay with me for a long time, because he got the headline figures of the goals, but he was also winning tackles in midfield. He was leading in terms of his communication and his just general aura that he sort of gives out. And there's a point at which you can say, oh yeah, someone with a more cynical mind might say he sort of bailed us out. And he's just brilliant. He is just brilliant, and he makes players around him better as well. And I just all I can really think about and watch is Declan Rice. The one slight negative, and someone mentioned this in a WhatsApp group that I'm in earlier on, saying that they got more and more anxious every time he did a knee slide. And I thought, now I'm going to be anxious every time he does a knee slide.
Do you remember Patrick Vieira's goal against Man United at Highbury? We won. It was a brilliant goal. I think it was a 3-2 win, but his wasn't the winner. But anyway, I think his goal put us ahead, and he did a knee slide and injured himself. And I was like, yeah, so maybe whoever mentioned that in the WhatsApp group had a flashback. Aware. I did also see that someone say that Declan Rice has even got a nice haircut now. I haven't noticed it different because I've not been paying attention.
It's a little bit longer, I suppose. Okay.
I don't know. These things are important to some people.
Is he like Samson? Is that it? He's grown his hair.
Maybe.
And it's like the root of all of his power.
So, Chris, because we were chatting via WhatsApp through the game while Steph was freezing his gonads off at the ground itself, what we did, so Declan Rice put us ahead 2-1, 55 minutes roughly, and I think the collective Arsenal view would have been like, get a third, don't sit back, because we can't risk that. So we did get a third, and which is different to, say, Sunderland's away as a kind of most directly comparable game, having gone behind, come back to lead 2-1. Whereas at Sunderland, we sat back. I know it was later in the game. It was like the 74th or 5th minute at Sunderland when Trossard kind of did the rocket into the top of the roof of the net. But we did push on, and we got the third. And ultimately, we needed that 2-goal cushion. Although as soon as we got the third, I think my first message and sentiment was, let's get a fourth. We need a fourth.
Yeah.
I'm not relaxed enough yet. And the way the commentators had kind of closed the game off, I'm like, there's about 20 minutes left. Had they not watched any football at all, ever? Like, anything can happen in 20 minutes with Arsenal. But Chris, how did... Because I know, Stefan, your instant reaction from the ground, you said it felt like we kept giving the ball away and someone lacked that little control at the end, which is interesting because nothing happened after Bournemouth scored their second goal. Literally from the 76th minute to the final whistle, nothing happened in terms of actual threat on our goal. But Chris, did it feel like that to you?
No, of course it didn't. No, because I wanted total control, as in scoring another goal or just keeping it in their half. Of course, it's not as easier said than done. A few times where we tried to relieve the pressure and just knock it long to Jesus down the channel. He did okay, occasionally lost it, in those moments I'm thinking, could we have done better? But yes, of course, in retrospect, we did very well. And as you said, after that goal, they didn't really threaten us at all.
Just to pick up on that, because again, I've seen your reaction to my reaction and the instant reaction pod that people can still get on YouTube at North Bank Pod, by the way.
I forgot the other thing as well.
Oh, well, while we're talking about that and the fact that people can, if they're listening to this on Spotify and Apple, they can still watch us on YouTube as well. What else can they do, Holly?
Right, okay. Thank you to quite a few of you jumped over and joined our free Patreon site. Brilliant. And I've been having chats with quite a few of you over there. Please, if you're listening, watching and haven't jumped over, do jump over. The intention obviously is to build a nice little community there with a bit more engagement, because I love it when we get messages and comments and observations, but it's not always easy to reply straight away because they're in different places. Like, for example, I have no clue what's happening on Instagram because I've never used it. I don't know what I'm doing there. So Patreon I can just about manage. But also, if you jump over, you will be entertained or I don't know what's the word, interested in Steph's first weekly, what do we call it? Newsletter?
A digest?
Update. Yeah, digest, whatever it
the
is.
Diary of an Away Fan. And so you've got, every game's an away game for you, Steph, isn't it? We had your bus breakdown on the way to Aston Villa.
No, I was late for the bus because of traffic.
Oh, right.
I just,
Oh, no, it wasn't a
the bus
breakdown.
company
Yeah, right.
held up their end. If anything, too well.
Efficient. Yeah. So you've on Patreon, you'll have that to look forward to, and it'll drop at some point tomorrow, perhaps. So come over and say hello and join our community on Patreon. And thank you to those of you who've done so already. Right, there we go. I'm about 8 or 9 minutes late with that. Sorry.
Fair enough. So just on that, just to give you a taste for the view from the away end, because Bournemouth is the smallest ground in the Premier League. I think it might be the smallest there's ever been in the Premier League. So it's a single tier kind of stand. Even at the back where we were, you still feel incredibly close. And where I sort of said about the disappointment of the lack of control is because when you're a fan in the stand and you've only got a 1-goal lead and you're playing a team that's only lost once at home all season to Everton, weirdly enough, it feels like any moment that there's a turnover of possession, you could leave yourself vulnerable. And because we're so, fraught with anxiety about just keeping winning and keeping those teams behind us at arm's length. So when there was a corner on the far side where they tried to do that thing where they play short and then keep it there, and they basically nosed that up because they didn't do very well at it, and immediately they gave Bournemouth a goal kick. And then there was another one on our side, so literally right in front of us, where passes put through for Gabriel Jesus. His first touch is horrendous. It puts it so far ahead of him that he's never going to get there. And again, it's just that immediate turnover of play. So I wasn't disappointed in terms of the way we were sort of attacking the game, as it were. I didn't feel like there was this concession that we're just going to have hold what we have. It was more just some of the execution. And I do feel that Jesus perhaps was did look a little bit hesitant when he came on. He didn't have the obviously immediate impact like he did against Villa, 2 touches and he's bloody scored. That was ridiculous. But there was something in some of the players that rotated in and out of the team where perhaps minutes are being managed, as it were. And so the fact that Bournemouth are a very, very good team, very busy team, especially in that first half, they were absolutely swarming all over us. And so that just left that little bit of pit of anxiety. And in such a small, concentrated away end as well, that kind of feeds into everyone's sense of nervousness.
What's the atmosphere like at Bournemouth?
Really good, and I've decided that it is the place where chants are born.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so small that whoever starts singing, almost everyone can hear it, because it's tiny and it's in this corrugated sheeting kind of shed-like structure that I always link to a kind of garden centre that's on the edge of town. And so, the Saliba chant is where that really kicked off, which I got going on that day. The Havertz chant, I wasn't actually at that game when he scored that penalty, and then the 60 million down the drain chant just absolutely took off. Well, yesterday, as much as I tried to get the Noni Madueke chant going, there is a new chant. I'm led to believe that it was started by a lad called Kieran Barry. Hello, Kieran. I know he's associated a little bit with the guys at Guns and Yellow Ribbons. And it's to the tune of I Like It by Casey and the Sunshine Band to Declan Rice. That's the way, I like it. That one.
Well, give us the Declan Rice version.
Oh, Declan Rice in red and white. I like it. 100 million, pay it twice. I like it. There you go.
Excellent.
Very nice.
And then there's one thing we need to decide on as Arsenal fans, though, is the bit before where it's do 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 do. How many times are we doing that? Because there was some people went early, some people carried it on. We've got to sort that out. Everyone.
It needs a conductor.
Exactly.
Right?
We need a conductor. Just is it? I reckon 2 times through on the doo-doos, and then we go straight into Declan Rice in red and white.
You've had a good weekend footballing wise when these are the key issues we need to resolve.
Oh, it's the important headlines here at North Bank Studios.
Yeah, indeed. We're at the forefront of all that's relevant with Arsenal. Chris, let me just bring you back to the actual game itself. Do you think it was a good performance or not? Because it seems like Arsenal on Twitter or online Arsenal is a bit divided. So what's your view? Do you think it was a good performance? 3-2 away win at Bournemouth.
I mean, if you're looking for an overall, then I would say yes, because first half we rectified a lot of what wasn't quite working in the first half and ultimately reaped the rewards. So ultimately, yes. But of course, we're breaking it down as we do as fans and as us on the pod. We're going to analyse the first half and next to the second half, and there's chalk and cheese.
Steph, do you think it was a good performance?
I think performance-wise, actually, overall, 90 minutes, probably not. Because, again, it's a mixture of things. Chris, you're absolutely right in that the spell in the second half, from half-time to, whenever the second goal in, but maybe even way beyond that as well, we were very, very dominant. But it was because we had to rectify a few things. Bournemouth's press was really causing us problems, whether that would be making Gabriel have a brain fart and pass basically across the box too weakly that led to their first goal, or a few times when we just simply ceded possession, or players like Odegaard and Zubimendi got turned far too easily. But Bournemouth's press was very concentrated centrally. So they were sort of happy to let us force the ball out wide if we wanted to. And Madueke had a few good runs in the first half, took on his man and beat him. But they were obviously just sort of hoping that would be the case. Martinelli was fairly anonymous in that as well. So I think it's been true for a good 6 weeks now, maybe even a couple of months, where we're so good in spells of games that we're getting the results. But there are patches in the games where, you do lose that control. And you've got to, hold your hand up, because the opposition yesterday, Bournemouth, I thought were very good in the first half.
That definitely is worth pointing out. And look, how we cope with those spells when we're not doing it is crucial, because, football cliche number 57 is about those moments. And if you cede a goal while you're not playing well, then obviously it magnifies the fact that you weren't playing well. But if you get through those sticky patches, as we did, okay, we made a silly mistake, but rectified it pretty quickly. The same player. So, it's character.
Those sticky patches have tended to come in first halves of games.
Yeah.
So not where I know we conceded late against Sunderland, which cost us, and at Villa Park, obviously, which cost us as well. So we lost 3 points because of those two late goals. But hang on, I wrote it down. On the kind of the set or the evolution of the first half, first 2 or 3 minutes, Bournemouth really came at us. I think they had 3 corners in 2 minutes or 2 corners in 3 minutes, and they did put us under a lot of pressure. And I know I said to in the WhatsApp group that I've never seen Zubimendi give the ball away so often, and yet the follow-up stat to that is that he won back possession 12 times in the game, and that's the most of any Arsenal player in any game this season, which is mad, because I didn't have any until I read that. I thought he had an average game at best. Clearly he didn't. Clearly that was just that first 20 minutes. And we kind of settled into it, and Madueke should have scored or should have done much better. He did brilliantly to create that opportunity, but then pass it, do what Declan Rice did, with power, but pass it into the net. I know it's easier to run onto it to get that power, but Madueke he aimed for it, but he just went for power, and he had
snatched it.
Yeah, the power meant going for power meant he ceded some control over direction. And so he kind of skied it. And then the Gabriel mistake was, he'll play another 90 games and not do that. It's just one of those things. And again...
on the Gabriel one, what was brilliant, and again, maybe it's the nature of the small away end, but immediately the Arsenal fans were chanting his name and singing his song, because we know that it is just what it is. It's a mistake, it's not part of a part
and they
of play.
happen.
And
he's got plenty of credit in the bank.
He's got so much
credit.
Well, yeah, exactly. Might have been interesting if Nkapia had done that. I don't know, but ultimately
he's been okay.
Yeah, no, he's been good.
Nkapia,
but I do think and I hate to harken back to this, but when we noticed that there was a real difference in this team, it was that Leicester game at the start of the 22 season, I think it was, where we ended up winning 4-1, but we did go one down. But the reaction to going one down was almost it was almost positive. It was so alien to us, because we're normally just sort of grumbling and moaning to ourselves, and I'm more than guilty of that than a lot of others. But we responded positively, because we were like, no, we've got a good team. We can come back into this. It shouldn't be viewed as catastrophic. It's just a setback. And so the same feeling is there with a few of the goals we've conceded in certain games, and as it was at Bournemouth. That was a mistake by Gabriel. He can put that to one side, and in fact, he can redeem himself just a few minutes
6 minutes later.
Oh,
in fact, what a fantastic finish!
Yeah,
the striker Martinelli fluffed his lines right, and his shot was blocked, and Gabriel just leathered it, arrowed it right into just inside the post. It was a thing of beauty indeed. And again, it's only the second time we've gone behind this season and come back to win the game. Newcastle away being the other time we went behind and came back to win it, and that was very late on in the game that day. Who got the? Was it Marino? Who got the?
Marino got the first one, and Gabriel got the win.
Gabriel got the second one. Okay, so first half wasn't great. So I'll give you the full game stats in a second, but the half-time stats, I've only got one that I wrote down at the time. Bournemouth's XG at half-time was 1.12, ours was 0.5. They'd had 8 shots to our 5, both with just one shot on target. There was one shot Clivert had straight after they scored, and I thought, it was very close. From where you were sat or stood, you might have thought that was going in.
No, well, perspective-wise, it was one of those ones, because we're so side onto it, we can't really tell. So I took my reading a bit like looking at a flight attendant on a flight. How worried should I be? Basically, I looked at David Raya, and because he didn't look worried...
The answer is very...
Yeah, he didn't look very worried at all, actually, because he didn't make a move. He just sort of do that thing where he sort of sauntered off to try and collect the ball and didn't look worried. So I was like, it probably wasn't that close. And then I watched the highlights later. I was like, okay, that really could have gone in.
Yeah, no, and that was an interesting moment, one of those kind of sliding door moments. If that had gone in, then different story. So the halftime stats weren't great, but Arteta did his thing at halftime, made some tweaks perhaps, I don't know. But the overall stats then, I mean, again, listen to these stats and tell me whether a draw would have been a fair result. 15 shots Bournemouth, 12 shots us. 3 on target Bournemouth, 5 on target us. Their XG, 1.34. Our XG, 1.17. They had a higher XG than us. Open play XG for them, 1.22. For us, only 0.77. A set piece, their set piece XG was 0.12, ours was 0.4, and they had 7 corners to our 5. So they've pretty much edged every metric apart from the only important one, which is the goals scored columns. So if Bournemouth had equalised late on, it would have been a bit of a gut punch, but you could argue that it wouldn't have been undeserved from a Bournemouth perspective. Answering my own question, I think it was an excellent performance. I think Bournemouth at home they're a different beast. They'd only conceded 6 goals at home all season prior to yesterday. Yep. We've got 3. And I just think you've got to give them credit for the way they played in the first half, knowing they couldn't sustain that level of press throughout 90 minutes.
And couldn't reinforce from the bench like we did. Me and my mate Nathan, who I stood next to throughout the game, we nudged each other when we made that substitution because the front line went off and arguably a stronger front line came on, because we were like, wow, this is unreal. Imagine being those defenders. And
add Eze and Havertz to that.
Crazy.
I'm almost embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's like the embarrassment of riches, isn't it? It's like amazing. Second half then, Chris, how do you feel about the second half? At what point did you relax?
When the ref blew the final whistle. I mean,
I have seen the head to elbow.
Have you seen it now?
I've seen it now.
I was going to mention it later, but now you've mentioned it. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's when the guy, and I can't remember his name, I think he was already on a yellow.
Yes, already on a yellow card.
Right, so he stooped to headbutt Gabriel's elbow to make it look as if he'd been elbowed, and then remonstrated and carried on remonstrating, making the elbow gesture to the ref. The audacity of him, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was funny, is what it was, because it was so
desperate.
Obvious. And I've never, ever seen anything like it before. I've never seen a player do that. What was he thinking?
Desperate. He was just desperate to try and win a penalty or whatever.
It's mad.
Bang.
Mad. Shall we do our...
do our little rundown, because then we can... there are other things that I've been saving to say.
Okay, so your takeaways then. Steph, you're at the game. Who was your man of the match?
I mean, it's Declan Rice, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a nonsense. Just when you think he's adding goals to his game, he's still an absolute powerhouse in midfield, winning headers, winning tackles, leading the line. It's just the most. Is he the most complete footballer in the league? There's an argument.
Now that he's adding goals,
there's an argument. It's amazing.
He played really well at right back as well. He can play centre back.
I can't actually believe he plays for Arsenal. He's amazing.
And that a player who costs so much and it's considered a snip. Genuinely by everybody, not by Arsenal
pay
fans.
It twice, I like it.
There are comparisons, and I don't like making comparisons, but with Gerrard, and I can see where that trajectory, the physique as well. Gerrard was quite, he had those rangy legs once he started galloping, and obviously he was a great goal scorer as well. So as we're seeing that coming into Rice's game, hopefully that continues, because Gerrard is a very high benchmark.
Yeah, I'm happy with the Gerrard comparisons. I'm less happy with the Frank Lampard ones
That's nothing
and
like
even
Lampard.
the Paul Scholes ones as well. But the Gerrard one I get.
No, he's far more athletic.
He's box to box.
Yeah,
like Patrick Vieira.
I used to, with my chippy Arsenal rival fan head on, I always used to sort of criticise Gerrard a little bit and sort of say, yeah, but he's a bit headless chicken. He just sort of like, he's here, there and ever. He's all action. And how does that really help the team? And now I'm seeing, that's not to put Rice down. Now I'm seeing something similar. Rice can be everywhere. He literally can be everywhere. Watching the Man City game earlier, I was watching some, or looking at some stats and things that were floating around about Rodri. And like the best midfielders are everywhere. Because they have to be, midfielders, incorporate so many different facets to their game. Declan Rice he's just phenomenal.
I liked in his post-match chat with a studio that he referred to himself as young and fresh. And that's how he's feeling physically. Remember, he sat out the Villa game. So he did have a little enforced break. But
we were listening to the radio on the way home from Bournemouth, all the phone-in shows and whatnot, and someone pointed out that he was a doubt for the game. And then I thought, oh yeah. So we had a player who was a doubt for the game. He played 96 minutes, scored 2 goals and got man of the match. Amazing. Even a half-fit Declan Rice is better than everyone else.
So I'm assuming we've all got Declan Rice as our man of the match, Chris. Yeah,
because if you haven't,
Chris,
he's sacked.
Yeah. Chris, which other player kind of impressed you?
Madueke I'm going with, because of what impact he made in the first half, particularly. Was in contrast, I have to say, with Martinelli. I just think he used his opportunity better. And he took players on. He had them guessing more. I just feel like with Martinelli, it was all a bit too safe. I'll come on to it in a second. But yeah, Madueke for me just wanted to have a go, and made things happen and create our equaliser. So
yeah, that was a great bit of play from. I think it was a free kick we had that went in and was cleared, and then he took on Semenyo first, and then Trufe or whatever his name is, the left back. With a non-tackle, but it's a shame Madueke isn't as efficient on the left because he's got Saka. But just a word on that, doff my cap to Arteta for his team selection.
Yep.
I was very much on board with that. As a very strong front three he started, allowing rest time for Trossard and Saka, and making a very strong front three to bring on his finishers, as he says.
Yeah.
So just a little mention on that. Okay, Steph, which player impressed you?
And they are finishers as well, because Saka came on and got an assist, and I think that puts him in the higher echelons of Premier League players with number of assists he's got, and he's only 24. It's just mad what he's doing. Madueke's an interesting shout because a few people. Lots of observers have been saying that perhaps he hasn't featured more because Arteta wants him to sort of do his defensive work as much as his attacking work. And actually yesterday, again, on that wing right in front of us, he didn't shirk his defensive responsibilities. He tracked his runners. He put tackles in and made blocks. So if he's adding that to his game, I can't say I particularly noticed that he wasn't doing that before. But then that can only be a good thing. My player under the radar, and it's as much yesterday's game, but also over the sort of Christmas period, really, and that's Saliba. I think Saliba's been really improving lately, and yesterday put in another pretty good performance against a very well-drilled and quite dangerous Bournemouth team, Saliba.
He had I don't know. Did he clear it? Oh, I'm thinking of the Villa game, aren't I? I'm thinking of when he just toe pokes it away from Ollie Watkins.
Yes.
Like
that was
a goal-saving challenge, interception or intervention, that was. My player that impressed is Ødegaard. Not just for the assist, but the through ball for Saka for Rice's for the winner, in fact, as it transpired. We've got Ødegaard back. Now, first half, I don't think we played well as a team, defensively or in attack. And there was a hesitancy, is the word I used in the WhatsApp group, the hesitancy about some of our forward play, where Ødegaard turned down one of the through balls or a through ball, just to kind of recycle it instead. And I just thought, okay, there's a bit of hesitancy here. We need a bit more zip, a bit more energy, a bit more urgency. But we got that in the second half. He got the assist for that. Is that qualifies a no-look assist for Declan Rice for his side? I don't know how he saw he was there.
You got a shout.
Declan Rice said he was shouting at him in the but he didn't even look. He just laid it perfectly.
Yeah.
And the ball for Saka was, I mean, it made Saka's mind up. It had the perfect weight. Saka had to sprint to get onto it, and he could only cut it back when he got there. And Declan Rice again just sat back, just didn't kind of. You talk about clever players. A player's clever movement in the penalty area to create space. Well, Declan Rice kind of just held his position, and the Bournemouth defenders got dragged or sucked more goal line or goal towards the goal, and he had a lovely. He still had to position it, place it, but so Ødegaard was my player that impressed most. I think he's so important, and as much as I said last podcast before the Bournemouth game that if Gabriel plays every game between now and the end of the season, we will definitely win the league, I said. And then after 10 minutes, he does that. I'm like, okay. Yeah, the higher you are, the harder you fall and all that. But Ødegaard as well.
That's why I think it's interesting what you said about those XG stats, because what my eyes saw was obviously a gifted chance for the Bournemouth goal, which presumably has a really high XG because essentially he's just got to pass it into the net. And I wonder if the two Rice chances probably have a slightly lower XG just because of the number of bodies in the way.
Especially the first one.
Yeah.
But they don't. But watching them, they didn't feel like difficult chances because they were so well worked. And you're talking about top players doing things very precisely. They felt like almost easy goals. It's like, actually, why don't we do that more? Run to the byline, cut it back, and then pass it into the net. But the situation, and then obviously Bournemouth's second goal was just a bit of a hit. You know, he could do that another 10 times and maybe only score 2 or 3 of them. And he hit it with such force. But yeah, it was interesting.
Did you see Gabriel's reaction to that second Bournemouth goal? He was going mad.
Didn't pick that goal because it should have been closed down.
Yeah, he was going mad at our midfield, which had just, I don't know where they'd gone.
Just gone to sleep.
It was a set piece that had been recycled, and so people were out of position from the set piece, I think. I haven't analysed it because, well, quite frankly, I couldn't be asked. We won the game. Don't need to find any reasons behind any of that. Okay. Which player then, Chris, did you want more from?
Martinelli.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah, and look, sometimes he's been our, clutch player. He just didn't make the most of the start. What I wanted to see as well is us exploiting his pace a bit more by not playing out from the back all the time, but trying to find those long balls before Bournemouth reset. So there were opportunities, where he'd be holding the line and we would just play safe, recycle, and then just kind of try and move forward as we do normally, with that kind of more compact way we play. But I just felt he didn't get the opportunities, but I just felt when he did have the ball, he just made some pretty safe decisions.
Do you think he was a victim of a general poor performance in that first half?
Well, like I said, you compare that to Madueke, who was having a go and on the other wing and making things happen. So not really. I think that was more in the middle. I think I felt where we got stuck was more in the middle, and just the fluency and the turnovers that they were forcing us into these errors, that we kind of sorted out in the end.
And as Steph has pointed out recently, we have had a left side bias as well in games, and he didn't benefit or take advantage of that. Yeah. Well, I won't go into mine. Mine's Martinelli as well, but you've illustrated all those reasons. Steph, what about you? Which player?
Martinelli is probably right because he was just almost completely anonymous in that first half. But I'm gonna mention it because it's becoming a trend, and I mainly doing it just to try and find out where's the bar. Where are we?
I know who you're going to say now.
Where are we setting the expectations? Because people were at it again. For one of the Rice goals, okay, Gyökeres got a lot of praise because he occupied some defenders. 2
centre-backs. We wouldn't have scored the goal without his involvement.
Okay. Is that what...
We just wouldn't.
Is that what we want? Is that okay?
Decoy.
Well, I'd like that as well as a goal.
Yeah. Okay, this is fine. But it's more about, it's not criticising that, because you're right, that is a good thing. In that moment, that is what we needed. We needed him to occupy the defenders so that the space is there for Rice to then sort of score. But if that's what his role is, then that's fine. I'm just trying to draw the parameters. He's a new player to us. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
I think look, it's nuanced, isn't it? That in that instance where that phase of play, he is pulling two defenders away to create the space. That's what you want from him. Great. But in other instances where he's got an opportunity and he's one-on-one, for example, and you expect him to do more, then I think, we're within our rights to say he should be doing better.
With him in the team, we are creating a shed load of chances. I'm not saying we wouldn't with Jesus or Havertz in the team, but we are creating a shed load of chances with him in the team. We've won 5 on the bounce in the league, and our XG is our created chances like in the 20s in each of those games, and we've won all of those games. I would love him to be scoring, not scoring more, but scoring would be good. But we're scoring different goals. Look at the Madueke run. We don't have another player, maybe Martinelli on the left, possibly, but Madueke's run for the Gabriel equaliser, where he took on Semenyo, went past Trufe and got to the ball and picks a player out in the middle, it has to be said. He's the only player we've got that can score that kind of goal. Eze's hat-trick against Spurs. He's the only player that we've got, maybe Odegaard as well, although he's not doing it as much as I would like, but who will shoot from the edge of the area. Not the Declan Rice cutback shot, but a shot where you've created it yourself. The Palace goal Eze got against Palace as well. That kind of thing, where you've got to do a little bit of quick foot movement to create a bit of space for yourself and shoot. So Eze's good at that. Odegaard can do that, doesn't do it enough. For me, Eze does it. So that's that type of goal. We've got Trossard, who can score a different type of goal. We've got and Gyökeres is another player that is maybe facilitating these different types of goals as well. I know it sounds... We were crying out for a striker to occupy the centre-backs of the opposition last season. And we've now got a striker who occupies the centre-backs this season. And we are plus 15 points on like-for-like games between this season and last season. We're up 15 points.
Yeah.
The last 5 games we've won, we failed to win last year.
Yeah, we lost both games to Bournemouth last year.
Yeah,
the maximum
they did double
number
over
of wins we got in a row last year in the league was 3.
3.
And we're at 5 currently.
And I can't remember who it was, but on Patreon someone messaged, I think his name is Stuart Ferguson, but I'm not 100%, so apologies. Fitzgerald.
Was it Fitzgerald?
Okay. And he said, what happened? He asked the question, like, what happened to giving a new striker 6 months to settle into a new league? And he name checked Bergkamp and Pires. And he's absolutely right.
I would absolutely agree with him, and he is absolutely right, except you look at the mainstream sports press, The Athletic have done an article about what's going wrong with Victor at Arsenal. They've not done one on Voltemada. They've not done one on... No, but that's what I'm saying is, like, in terms of the narrative, but it feeds what people's opinions are, doesn't it? And it colours the way people are seeing things.
So... that's probably why I'm kicking back against that a little bit.
Good.
And also, we need him to score. I didn't think he would start against Bournemouth, I must admit. What I am curious about, we'll get to it, but when we pick our starting 11s for Liverpool on Thursday, how many of us have Gyökeres starting for that game? That would be interesting. But yeah, So your player that you think you could... Yeah, of course, he's a number 9. You'd like him to... Did he come close to scoring yesterday? I don't think he did.
Not really.
But our XG was only, 1.17. So I must add in chances created to my stats overview next time, just so we can see how many chances... But the chances we created... Declan Rice's first goal wouldn't have been scored if he hadn't had that initial involvement. Also, Martinelli with the flick on to begin with, that was really important. Gyökeres's role was important. And who was the other touch? Ødegaard's, of course. Ødegaard's ball to Rice. So there were 4 players involved, and it sounds totally daft to say, but each of those 4 players' involvement was crucial for that goal. State the bloody obvious. Yeah. I'll be on Mastermind later on this week. My specialist topic is the bleeding obvious. So, yeah, we'll get on that. Right, okay. Positive takeaway, Chris.
Second half, the way we reacted, and we didn't let Bournemouth dictate the pace. You know how I'd said it was chaotic, and that's what they like, and the way they were sort of snapping into the second balls and the challenges, and we just weren't at the races in the first half. So for me, it was just the reaction in the second half and getting to grips with it, which sort of flips into the negative, really. But there you go for the positive.
Steph?
I think this is the other side of the same coin, Chris, in terms of I've put the word character because as much as we would like to blitz teams from the off, at least we have the character not to lose our heads when we face a setback. Because the manager, I'd love to see Arteta's halftime team talk. So, if there was ever an Amazon documentary he'd make it's probably this season more than any other, because him and the coaches are obviously seeing things and rectifying things, but the players are showing the character to want to correct those things as well. Zubimendi, dispossessed quite a lot in the first half, but absolutely imperious in the second half. There is a player with huge intelligence and huge character to keep going and keep persisting and keep wanting to dominate their opposition, even if the first half hasn't gone quite well. And I love the character of this team just to stand up to all of that. And Declan Rice is, at the moment, the kind of poster boy for that character, because, and I'm sure the English lion heart kind of plays into that narrative a little bit as well. But I'm all for it. It was brilliant.
My positive takeaway kind of ties in with all of that as well. Coming from behind to win. So again, mentality, resilience. We are not going to steamroll every team. We have no right to. We shouldn't feel entitled to be able to do that, or to expect that even. This is a difficult league. I don't know that I mentioned it whilst we recorded, but I certainly said it beforehand. Only 4 points separate Chelsea in 5th with Palace in 14th. That tells you, or tells me rather, you can decide what it tells you, but what that tells me is that there's the quality of football team in this league goes deep.
Yeah.
That, what was it, Steph? I think it was a couple of weeks ago, you showed this set of results and not one away team won. Except us in 10 fixtures over a weekend. It's like, it's hard to win away.
Yeah. But Brentford up to 7th, Sunderland newly promoted, they're in 8th. The quality of teams could go deep.
And you go 1 or 2 places below that and you'll find Leeds United, and I'm not looking forward to travelling to Leeds at the end of the month either.
No, they've really turned around their form. Their league position still doesn't quite reflect that, but they've been pinching points off all sorts of people.
Unbeaten in 6, but they've played Liverpool and United and someone else big in that as well. So, yeah.
Well, they got a draw against Chelsea, didn't they?
Everyone gets a draw against Chelsea.
Well, I'm glad Man City did today, as we record. So.
I need to. I've got a post-it note of Sunday's progression, a timeline of Sunday football results-wise. Did you give your positive takeaways? I can't remember.
We did.
Negative takeaways then, Chris.
Yeah, well, like I'd said, the positive of mine sort of flips into the negative, which is just the first half, how it took time to kind of get with it. Is it a pattern? Well, yes, it is a pattern, but is it something that's being... I sometimes wonder whether there's almost too much information given to the players that they get the yips. That thing where Arteta is so granular in his notes, and then the sort of shackles kind of come off as the players get to grips with the game and their own natural kind of instincts kick in more. I don't know. It just feels like there's something slightly holding us back as we probe and figure out the opposition.
Steph, you always use the boxing analogy as, 2 fighters just sizing each other up at the start. And that might be something that's going on with Arsenal. But what's good is we've got the fix for it. We can find the solution at the moment. In the second half, yes, it would be nice to go 3-0 up and relax.
I think with an away game, this has happened a couple of times where we've said, "Oh, it took us time to get used to it." You are trying to silence, not like a home game where you're expected to carry the momentum. With an away game, I suppose your primary thing is quieten the crowd, get used to the environment more. It's not the same dynamic as a home game, so we can.
Yeah, and you're up against a team that's got Semenyo.
Yeah,
like they got Dane Kluivert, Evan Nielsen. They got dangerous players.
Yeah.
That guy that came on, he's
Junior.
a proper teenage talent. Yeah,
Krupi, yeah.
And Brooks had a chance that sailed across the goal as well, didn't he?
That was a quick bit of quick thinking from a free kick in the second half that we were a little bit asleep to. And Timber got in the second half as well. He just got a toe onto a cross. Semenyo put a brilliant ball across the 6-yard box, and the guy behind Timber would have had not an open goal, but he would have had a shot on goal from 6 yards that you would have fancied him to score. So there were a couple of nearly moments in that second half. Steph?
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling for negative takeaways. It is hard to be that churlish, but I've put about strikers because, only because, Jesus is clearly working his way back up to 100% fitness, so he's not going to be used from the start in many games, if any. And there are just one or two players who maybe just want a bit more output from them, but I feel kind of petty saying that. Whether it's Gyökeres, whether it's Madueke, even Saka, all right, he got an assist, but you can clearly see he's desperate to find the back of the net. And so, but it's neither here nor there. Look, we're winning and we're top of the league, and it's hard to complain about anything.
I'm just checking. We're the second top scorers. We've only scored 4 less than City.
Yeah, have you got?
We're averaging exactly 2 goals a game.
Yeah, were you going to roll out? Yeah, and it's great that we're scoring by committee. I don't know if I want someone to just stamp their authority on the.
We've scored 7 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, I know, but this is why I said it's petty. You asked me for a negative. I haven't really got one. Like the negative yesterday, that it was -2 watching the game. You know what I mean? That was the negative, that I couldn't really feel my feet by the end of the game. But it's nothing to do with Arsenal. I was going to ask if you were going to roll out that stat that someone mentioned, I think, in the group about the where we're at compared to where the Invincibles were at this time.
I didn't have it written down. I just referenced it yesterday. We're 2 points ahead at this after 20 games of where the Invincibles were. 4 goals better off,
I think you said.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty good.
But it's a different. We had United. Time. We only had United. There were the days where you could win the league losing 6 games. You can't do that. You can't do that now.
And yet, as well with the Invincibles, if you look through the results, we weren't hammering everyone every week. There were some close games there, and a lot of draws. As Fergie pointed out rather bitterly.
He has, in his defence, said that Wenger's achievement is better than the treble.
Okay.
He said because it's never been done and it won't be done. And City did the treble. The City did the treble.
Yeah, they
did, didn't they? Yeah. Good.
Well, they bought the treble, I think we should say.
Allegedly. When is that punishment coming, by the way? Anyway, never mind. Yeah. I haven't got a negative takeaway other than a little too nervy at the end, but it was, as you say, use the word churlish to try and find one. Yeah, for sure. It was cold.
Properly good vibes at the minute.
Yeah. I've got a couple of other observations. No, I haven't. Okay, I like this one. No, I said no, I haven't because I've already read a couple of them out inadvertently. Arsenal have now gone 116 games in all competitions since they last conceded 3 goals in a game. That's the best run, and I love this. That's the best run by any team in the history of English football.
Amazing.
I love that.
I did think that, actually. We had a chat about that in the minibus on the way back, where it was like, I'm glad they didn't get a third, because obviously it's since the Luton game, isn't it? Since we last conceded 3.
Yeah.
Whew. How many days was that again?
It's 116 games.
116 games. Wow.
just in case you didn't hear me at the back, best run by any team in the history of English football.
Wow.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Right. Oh, the other interesting thing was Arsenal. This is before Man City played Chelsea. No, we haven't played Chelsea at home yet, so this stat still stands. So far this season, the 20 games Arsenal and City have played, we've played the same fixture 7 times. So we've played the same. So like
Sunderland away, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Sunderland away. And so if you marry up or match up like for like, we are 6 points better off than City.
And
we're plus 6 points.
Yeah, good, very good.
So if you know, it's difficult after 20 games. You're just over halfway through the season. City have got much more difficult away games in the form table than we do. For example, for the rest of the season, the average, I don't know what their average position is, but the average position of the away teams for us is like 12th or something like that.
They're not easy though.
No, but there's no easy. I talked about Leeds, not looking forward to going to Leeds, and they're 16th. We've got to go to Forest, they're 17th, not looking forward to that one either.
No.
And they're both this month.
Yeah.
We've got to go to Wolves.
Who are the form team?
Yeah.
Did they get the biggest margin of victory this weekend, I think? Or this round of fixtures?
Oh, 4-2 Brentford today would have... No, yeah. So
well, no, because they
Everton
won by 3
late.
clear goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Everton scored late.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. Brentford, by the way, 4-2 at Everton.
Yeah, we've got to go there as well.
Oh, we've got to go Brentford as well. Oh, Steph, stop it. I'm very positive. I'm positive because Sunday, United dropped points at Leeds, and as Chris, we said never to. I'm never hesitant in acknowledging drop points from United. Spurs can see the 80th minute equaliser at home to Sunderland. Liverpool took a 2-1 lead in the 94th minute at Fulham.
Gakpo, top off, threw it in the crowd, thought he'd won it.
I genuinely thought that was the result until, Chris, you messaged something about Liverpool having thrown away a left. What? What's he talking about? 97th minute, and I believe it's a bit of a tap-in.
It's a corker.
Have you not seen the goal?
No.
Oh, my word.
I'm looking forward to match of the day. What can I say?
It is. Yeah, very good.
And then the best to last, obviously. Basket Case Club travelled to the Etihad and managerless, rudderless, whatever. And they 1-0 down.
Charges on both sides, shall we say.
True. And Chelsea score a 94th minute equaliser. Oh, beautiful. So you're not crushing my joy today. Yes. We'll worry about these away games later on in the season. Right, guys, anything else to say about Arsenal, Bournemouth yesterday?
No, we're good, I think.
Okay, Liverpool at the Emirates on Thursday. Liverpool, who will feel like, as you said, Chris, they'll feel like that draws a loss, a bit of a gut punch, drop 2 points. They are sitting 14 points behind us. They are actually unbeaten. I've written this down. Where is it? They're unbeaten. No. Yeah, they're on a decent unbeaten run, but they've dropped points today and home to Leeds last weekend. So they're and listen to the Liverpool fans. It's dull to watch. They keep talking about sideways. They obviously come to us without Isak and
Salah.
And Ekitike pulled out before this game today with a bit of a minor injury. Don't know what that means for his availability on Thursday. Has anybody heard anything?
No, I don't know.
Steph, Chris, are you guys going to the game?
I'm not, unfortunately.
I probably am. We'll see how work goes first week back after New Year. But yeah, it's because it's on a Thursday. I think.
How are we feeling, Chris? How are you feeling about it?
Well, it's like you with United. You know, I've got Liverpool scars. Being a bit older than you, I remember going when Kenny Dalglish was still playing and they would just hammered us all the time. So, yeah, my Liverpool scars are pretty deep. So I'm always a bit apprehensive. I think they're a collection of good players, but they just haven't found their system yet as a team. And that's what I hear from Liverpool fans as well, those who are, you know, not just the frothy-mouthed ones, but those who know the game a bit. they could, they're very capable of getting a result. So I don't want to be overly confident with it, but I think we'll probably edge it.
Well, they did win 2-1 on their last visit to North London, but that was at Spurs.
Yeah.
We drew 2-2 twice last season, I believe, with them.
Yeah.
So again, it's another one of these games where we can improve on last season's equivalent fixture. Steph, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, like Chris, I have slight issues with Liverpool in the sense that growing up where I did in the East Midlands, I support Arsenal because of family, and so I know lots of people who are Liverpool fans. So I've certainly heard that noise quite a lot. When they've done well on occasion, so that's annoying. And also, it's just a fixture where, in the handful of away games that I've done at Anfield, I've never seen us win there, and I just have this memory of lots of games at home. There's always goals on both sides, and that frightens the hell out of me, to be honest. So yeah, I should be probably more bullish than I actually am based on current form, but that's the psyche of a football fan.
And it will probably peak and trough between now and Thursday kickoff as well.
Throughout the game as well.
Yeah, true. Chris, what team do you think Arteta will roll with then? Right.
Well, I'll run through my what I think he'll go with. Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. I don't think Calafiori will make it, so I'm putting in Capier back. Zubi, Rice, Ødegaard, and up front, I have a sneaky feeling he might put Jesus up from the start. And the reason being, so Saka, Jesus, Trossard is my front line. I just think with Liverpool's defenders, Van Dijk in particular doesn't like being moved around as much. And I think Jesus can do that and have them asking questions, Konate as well. Whereas I think they'll have the better of Gyökeres. That's what worries me, is that he'll just be too sort of static, and their experience will, particularly Van Dijk, will tell. But with Jesus buzzing around them, I think they'll find that more difficult. So that's why I think tactically he might start with Jesus.
Steph?
I love your reasoning, Chris, and I would, if I were coach, I would think exactly the same. Also, and I don't have the stats to hand, but Martinelli loves a goal against Liverpool. He's got a pretty good scoring record against them, but I don't think he picks either Jesus or Martinelli. I've got exactly the same team, but Gyökeres up front. So Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Nketiah, Ødegaard, Zubimendi, Rice, Saka, Gyökeres, Trossard.
I'm going to sound like a parrot here, but I like your reasoning, Chris, for Jesus. I don't think Jesus or Martinelli did enough when they came on against Bournemouth to make it a shoe-in, and I think he'll go with exactly the team that Steph read through. That's my starting. But again, with beautiful capacity to change on the bench.
Yeah.
Martinelli, Madueke, Jesus, Eze. It's ridiculous again on the bench. And I put into the WhatsApp group when the Man City team was announced, their starting 11 was very, very good. You look at their bench and you've got Doku, and that's it.
And they had a couple of injuries throughout the game.
Yeah. So
it's starting to catch up with them a little bit.
I know they're probably going to add Semenyo too.
Mm-hmm.
Savinho, I think, had an injury, but I suspect Savinho will be playing for Spurs by the end of the month. That was a rumour in summer, very close, kind of a strong rumour, but then...
Is that before or after they get rid of Frank?
Oh, he's there to the end of the season.
Is he? 2 wins in 11.
He's lost the away fans. That's
he has, but that seems a bit odd because their last 2 away games, they've got 4 points. Brentford and Palace. They've got 4 points. It's not the... okay, I'd be disappointed. This is terrible. But as you're going for the championship, going for the league title, yeah, you want 6 points from those 2 games. But Spurs aren't.
Yeah, but you know how deluded their fans are, and they feel like that they're harping after this kind of romantic ideal of what they should be, which goes back to Bill Nicholson in the 60s, you know. So, you know, this isn't a Spurs podcast, but I do think there's unrealistic, you know, delusions of adequacy, as they say.
They're not delusions. They are basically adequate. They're only 4 points off fifth.
As is half the league.
Yeah, in 13th. Yeah. Chris, scoreline.
I'm going 1-0 to the Arsenal. I know we do generally get high-scoring games, but I've just got a feeling that Liverpool will play more defensively and that we'll have our work cut out breaking them down. So I'm just going to go for a 1-0.
Okay, Steph.
Yeah, no Ekitike, no Salah. If Ekitike
is Ekitike playing?
Well, I don't know, but if he is, I mean, if it's a hamstring or anything like that, then it's unlikely that he'd be risked. But you know, hopefully he isn't because he's been their bright light this season. But yeah, it's goals. Liverpool and Arsenal is always goals. 2-1. I've got Arsenal.
Yeah, I can't see. We kept a clean sheet. I'm just looking. We kept a clean sheet at Everton in the league, and then
that's it.
Brentford before that, 2-0. We haven't kept a lot of clean sheets in the last 6 or 7 games.
Time for another one then.
Absolutely, yeah. Bring it on. And Liverpool are a bit toothless at the moment, but I have got us winning 3-1.
3-1.
3-1. I was close. I said 3-1 against.
You did.
Bournemouth, and it was
almost
nearly there. So we've got 3 or 4 days to. Man City host Brighton on Wednesday, so they can go within 3 points of us. Not go first, not go top, not go level, not go 1 point or 2 points behind us, but they can go 3 points behind us if they beat Brighton. So we'll all be Seagulls fans for the evening on Wednesday, and then obviously we kick off. Is it 8:15 or so? Is it 8:15 kickoff? For us? 8 o'clock kickoff for us. 8 o'clock kickoff for us on Thursday. So as ever, I'm going to miss the first half. I'll be cheering, but I'll be keeping an eye. Probably the best thing for me to do, to be fair, if I'm not out of the game, is distract myself. Anyway. We can enjoy the next few days sitting pretty at the top. Enjoy the journey. I've always said that. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Enjoy it. So enjoy the journey. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Check us out. Patreon. Come over and say hello there. Do that. Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, all that malarkey. And we'll see you next time for an instant reaction on Thursday after the game. So watch out and look out for that. All right. Cheers, guys. Keep warm. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, rate and review on your app and find us on your socials at North Bank Pod. Email hello@thenorthbankafc.com and check out our website, thenorthbankafc.com. Produced by the Podcast Company.